after 8 months, New York finally reopens the movie theaters. This was my reaction.
The city cops say fine. Your council has not said anything, but they promise to break their silence soon with a press conference.
No, son of a
WINS will be there to cover it live from the scene of the heist at JFK. It looks like a big one, maybe the biggest this town has ever seen. Stay tuned.
And so obviously with not many movies out and not a lot of good catalog movies that AMC has re-released, I went to see Christopher Nolan's TeneT. That's been out since the beginning of September, and I've stayed away from all the reviews and a lot of like people talking about it because I wanted to because I didn't want to go into it, because sometimes whenever I see reviews, I kind of think like what I'm going into is like oh, so there's gonna be like something about it that's not so great, something like Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, when I know I ended up liking it, but going in there, I was like, ooh, there's something in there, I guess, that nobody was really a big fan of. But, so me and a friend went to see TeneT Friday night, and, so going into the theater, me and my friend were like pumped. We were like, yes, after months, we are coming back to the theater, the place that movie fans go to. And we go into the theater, and we're like, not the only ones in there. We're like, there's like a few people in there, and it's very COVID proof. We sit down and we just watch a bunch of trailers for not a lot of very popular movies for 2020. Yeah, I have to say, just, wow, a lot of movies that were supposed to come out this year have literally jumped ship on 2020. They've immigrated all the way to 2021, and most of the movies from 2021, I feel like, have just gone back to 2022, because it's like, oh, it's a one big shuffle. So yeah, but then the movie starts. First off, I'm getting chills. I'm getting goosebumps, just this movie opening. The Warner Brothers sign coming up, and it's not in black or blue like in previous Nolan films with the Warner Brothers sign. It starts off with this intense concert shooting, and then John David Washington comes in and all that, and it's great, and it's intense, and then he's like on a train thing, and then there's all that, and he like eats this, and he tries to sacrifice himself. It was all its S, and it's like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be amazing. And then there's all this talk about you have to prevent World War III from happening, and you must, and Kenneth Branagh is gonna be like responsible for it and something. And then Robert Pattinson comes in, and he's like this, and right when we heard him, and he's like, and I'm thinking to myself, I've not seen Robert Pattinson a lot. I know he's been in not the best movies, but he's actually a pretty good contestant from James Bond. I'm serious. I actually kind of think he's definitely one of the highlights of this movie when he comes on, and he's like, he'll have a Pepsi. What? You're not supposed to drink on the job? I like Robert Pattinson in this movie. And this is definitely one of Nolan's best looking films. So I love the look of it, even though I did not see this in an IMAX theater. And then the movie there's all these talking and there's just all this talking about TeneT and World War III and this plutonium, and there's like, okay, so before I get more into it, I'm just gonna quickly go over my thoughts on Nolan films in general. So the Dark Knight trilogy, it's been a while since I've watched it. I didn't really rewatch those movies for TeneT, and it's been a while since I've rewatched them. But my full review of it, Batman Begins is all right. The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises are really great movies, and then Inception, I rewatched it, still holds up. It's his best film, in my opinion. It's just a great movie, great acting, just great visuals, great action, and just a great story. Interstellar, not too crazy about it, but it has some good stuff about it. And I like a lot. The effects and the acting are really great. I really do love it. Dunkirk, I love it. It's probably my second favorite. I know a lot of people say there's not that much character development, or like the story's kind of weak or something. I don't know. I love it. I think it's a great movie. I love Kenneth Branagh and everyone else. They're great. I think it has, but it does have a great story about to sacrifice yourself. And always, and basically, it's basically, like same. It's the same Private Ryan of the 2010s. And I love it. All right, so now up to TeneT. Okay, I will again. I have to say, after The Dark Knight, I think all Nolan's films, from Inception to TeneT, are beautiful looking movies. I think they all look great with him now using IMAX camera for almost all of his movies. It looks they all look great, and that's one of the best stuff about it. I love. So my real thoughts. So on an acting and technical level, it's fantastic. I love the acting from John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, and this, I forgot her name, the Australian actress. I think she's great. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, Quicksilver, and from Age of Ultron, and he's all right, but he definitely he kind of just comes into the movie very randomly, but now I'm gonna get into my negative stuff. All right. Now, it's very confusing. There's a lot of scenes of people just talking about TeneT, but it's just like, Nolan just is not directing it in an interesting way. There's just nothing about it feels very interesting. And that's why I think it feels confusing and boring at times. I mean, not really boring. It's just kind of like that. I don't think this TeneT is confusing to me. Yeah, I definitely need to see this movie. I know I have to rewatch this movie because right now, I don't know. I'm not saying this movie's bad or good. I mean, so far this is actually my favorite movie of the year. I mean, it's still got a lot of great stuff about it. And I'm not going to say bad stuff, but like some stuff that's not executed very well. And that brings me to my main point. This is not his best action heavy movie. I love the opening concert shooting thing. And I kind of do like the hallway scene, but that car chase that's meant to, with like going backwards and stuff, really disappointing in my opinion. I think it was not executed well. And the ending, which is like this battleground, and it's just, it was just not really executed well. I'm gonna have to this is why I'm bringing up Inception. Because when there was like exposition and they were talking, there was something they were doing something to kind of make us more connected and more engaged with the story. But they're always just standing around talking in a room. But there was just one scene more in the beginning when TeneT is being kind of explained and how it is. I think, and it's interesting because you're seeing how John David is like, how he's doing how the gun thing is working, how the bullet into the thing. I think that's all it all works very well. Sorry about that, guys. Just a little accident. But anyway, back to the exposition stuff. There's literally a scene with Michael Caine. Now Michael Caine is just in one scene in this movie, and and as I'm watching it, I'm kind of thinking to myself, Michael Caine's kind of getting old a bit. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm just kind of saying it. It's like when he's on, like how he's talking and how he looks. It's kind of, and he's like, and he's mostly in all, and like ever since Batman Begins, he's been in every Nolan film outside of Dunkirk. And I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I kind of thought I'd bring that up, and that's what I was mostly paying attention to, and whatever was happening. And so yeah, and I'm gonna have to bring this up. I think Nolan was a little bit too confident when he was making this movie. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, it feels like he thinks that everyone's gonna know what's going on, or like people are gonna understand, when people are gonna have some issues, are gonna have some difficulty trying to understand some stuff. And that's kind of the thing about the problem with this movie. If he doesn't get the people to catch a break, or he doesn't explain it well. It's just kind of like, because literally, this is what my friend said at the end of this movie. My friend was like, "What the hell did I just watch?" And this is my reaction to TeneT.
What the hell was that? Spaceball 1?
Is this one of his worst movies? No, but Nolan is kind of one of these directors that hasn't really made a movie that's bad. But the thing is that his movies aren't bad or great. His movies, I think all of his movies tend to be kind of mixed. Like, there's always people who, I mean, literally, take Dark Knight Rises for example, there are people out there who don't really like it, and then there's the people who think it's really great, which I'm kind of one of them. And I mean, even like Memento, Interstellar, Prestige, even this first film Following, which even though it's in the Criterion, there's still a fan base for Following.
Let's go through this one. Let's start with Roger. Inception versus Following. Inception. Allison. Inception. Maddox.
I'm gonna go with Following.
Okay,
What?
screw you. Shut up.
I'm actually more shocked.
But there is no such thing as a perfect director. Directors always make like a dud, or just a movie that kind of made us scratching our heads a bit. Like Spielberg, Scorsese, Coppola, Kubrick. They've never really made like a movie that was perfect in every way. Not even Citizen Kane. But so is TeneT. So all around TeneT, I'm glad I saw it. I'm loved that this was like the first movie that I saw in the theaters. Even though I do wish I did see Inception when it got its re-release back in August, but movie theaters were not reopened at that point, so I could not relive one of my favorite movies in the theater. And so TeneT, right now, it is for now it's a 7 out of 10. That's what my friend gave it. It's a great movie with great acting and just technical, and with effects and lighting and cinematography. It's great. And even the music, which is surprisingly not by Hans Zimmer, which I was very surprised. I didn't even know that. I mean, I wasn't even watching the credits because I had to leave. I had to leave the room because like I did not go to the bathroom at all. I did not want to get up during this movie. Because I know since this was a Nolan film, I knew I'm not getting out of my seat. I have to sit in this, because I don't want to miss anything. My friend got up like 3 times during the movie. And, like, I mean, he didn't really miss anything major, but still, it was, I did not get up anyway. I didn't even buy any popcorn or soda. And I did not know that Hans Zimmer did not write the score for this movie. And I don't really know why, but I actually kind of like this score in a way, but because this is the most loudest movie ever. I will admit, loudest movie ever. All around 7 out of 10. It's great. If you live in New York, for any of you who live in New York, and you want to go back to the movies, just check out TeneT. It's kind of the only movie that's worth going to see now, or just any like catalog re-release movies that are coming out. Right now, I guess Alita's playing, but that's all. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time where I take a look at Her Majesty's Secret Service.